Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included Badlands episode 25, which originally streamed live on Twitch. So let's recap last stream because it has been 2 weeks. Oh, looks like Cheese just leveled up. Welcome, Cheese. So the recap is as follows. We voted for me to tap this natural gas reservoir. And these are actually full, I believe. It's just you can't see them full yet because I haven't unpaused. And then at the very last project, I would say, was to vacuum gap this oil fissure because it was producing a lot of heat. And as you can see, I've stuck a ton of Weezeworts here to try to lower the, the ambient temperature around there because that has been sending heat off in a bad way. So we're doing a pretty good job of sort of lowering that temp. That, I think, would be it. And then what we really did towards the very end was just to start to poke around. Because we only have a small swath of this explored. There is all of this down here that I don't have knowledge of. And what we were trying to do is to set up a fire pole ladder system to go down and poke around a bit. For our benefit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to continue exploring on slow speed just to catch up, and then have you all propose project. I'm actually not even going to do the projects myself. You guys will pick. You're impressed by the placement and size? Oh, every game that I play, I customize my UI. So, for instance, the overlay here is nested nicely so it doesn't really block game. I try to do my best. Games like this that are very, very busy and have very little real estate for me to work with, I shrink myself. So I'm very tiny. But I do what I can. So we were exploring, just to talk about some long-term... Oh, why is there salt water here? It's salt water that's like invisible. That is strange. To talk about some of the long-term goals that we have. Obviously, space is a long-term goal. It has been like a full year since I've built in space, so that's going to be a rude reminder of the mechanics, but, you know, I'm down. There's also the full exploration to figure out what natural geysers and volcanoes that I have in order to figure out, what renewable resources I have available to me. And then also just to make, to start using those available resources, right? We're not really using this water or this water. This water can desalinate a little bit, but we're not really using it, if I'm going to be honest. We just have it desalinated every now and then. And then there's tons of other geysers around that I am not touching. We haven't really used the natural gas yet, and it's already at overpressure. So there's 5 kilograms per tile here of natural gas, and unless I turn it to a liquid or something, there's no way to store more. So there's a lot of other projects that we could do. Plus, setting up the entropy thermal nullifiers or, things of that nature. So, I'm going to have you all vote. And Octania, thank you for gifting out a sub. I appreciate it. So yeah, the reminder is we have the ability to make steel, but I don't really have a good coolant system, so we would not be able to crank it out forever, meaning that we don't exactly have the capacity to go to space because we don't have the means to make mass-produced steel. We are still running a standard electric grill. We do have a glossy farm that is making a decent amount of plastic without having a petroleum processing, so that's always good. One big issue that I foresee on the horizon is the loss of dirt and having to change over to some other method to feed ourselves, because currently we are relying on mealwood, which relies on dirt, and I just don't have a lot of dirt. So fertilizing this stuff is going to be an issue, and I'm just mentioning all this so that you guys can come up with projects, and I'll just let you vote on them. I could propose suggestions if you feel like you need them. It really depends on how veteran or new you are to the game. But because it has been 2 weeks, another thing that I want to do is to remind myself where the geysers are. So we have got infectious polluted oxygen there. Oh man, it is hard to find geysers in this mode. So, I'm sorry for the... Here, I'll just set it back to 9. And then over here, there was some as well that I had gleaned. There was one here. This here is cool steam vent. So that's the second cool steam vent. We have another cool steam vent actually closer to the base, right yonder, that we're not even using yet. There is this one here. This is hot polluted oxygen vent, so super not useful, as far as I'm concerned. Whatever this is. Leaky oil. That's right, because it's in the cold biome, and I thought that would be not very useful. Yeah, that's still the cool steam vent. I think that about covers the eastern half. And then... this here was chlorine? Polluted water. Okay. Polluted water. I don't think there was anything on the west-northwest that we hadn't already tapped into. Yeah, that might cover it. There is some more down here. There was salt water here, I believe. I'm just going to confirm. Saltwater geyser. And this here is carbon dioxide vent. There is obviously an oil reservoir there that I could, if we need the oil. And is that all the... I feel like there's still more that I have knowledge of that I haven't gotten to yet. But that's... that's a good amount. So... the priority, of course, is still to explore, and what I'm going to do is actually, in, let's say, 4 minutes time, I'm going to open up the suggestion box and just let you all suggest things for me to work on. Another thing that I probably want to do is to start deodorizing the oxygen around here, because the oxygen is nasty. It's all polluted oxygen. I mean, it's breathable, but polluted oxygen, the weakness of polluted oxygen is that it can become infected with slime lung or other diseases rather easily. So starting to purify that wouldn't be a terrible idea. I don't believe that there are any germs. Like if I zoom out, as you can see, this map tile is relatively germ-free, but I would not want an outbreak. So I could do the bare minimum. And the deodorizers really only cost sand, more or less. They're not expensive to upkeep and run. So it's like 5 watts in a little sand. It's affordable. So then we just want to power these on. And I believe the other ones I installed where there was already power existing. Yeah. Alright, cool. Do mushrooms need dirt to grow? They need slime to grow. There is 0 slime on this map tile. Like, actually none. So, that is probably a non-starter. So taking a look at the seeds that I have, because that's a very good question. If you're going to propose projects for farming. If I go to the database entries, we have Blossom. Bristle Blossoms. So Bristle Blossoms here. Growth requirements is oxygen, polluted oxygen, and carbon dioxide, and water. They require water, not anything else. So one of the things that we could do for the Bristle Blossoms is to tap some of the renewable water supplies. The only issue with that is the renewable water supplies are hot, and Bristle Blossoms are temperature sensitive. So we'd need to find a way to cool down this water functionally, or the Bristle Blossoms are going to go outside of their temperature tolerances and die. What other seeds do we have? We have... I'm trying to think. All resources. Let's see what we got available to us. So these are not edible. They're for fibers. Mealwood, we're already growing. Thimbleweed is not edible. Fungal spores are non-starter. There is no slime. Pinch of pepper is really only for coffee and stuff like that. It's not like a It's not like something that you can continually eat. I guess there's Dasha salt vine seeds, so I can highlight that and show you what that would be. So Dasha salt vines are grown when given a steady supply of chlorine. They require sand per cycle. I'm actually not entirely sure what kind of sand I have, but they do produce salt. And my sand amount here is 70 tons, so it's workable, but it doesn't really make us food. I also have nosh beans, yes, so let's go to the nosh. So nosh beans, or nosh sprouts, rather, is grown with an atmosphere of carbon dioxide, but it too has a fundamental problem where it requires dirt. And the Badlands doesn't really have a lot of dirt, so that probably would be the bottleneck. It has the same problem, more or less, as mealwood. And then if we take a look here, I could... There's not a lot of easy ways to make dirt. Like, I could have an arbor tree, a wild arbor tree farm with pips to try to make dirt, but that's just not going to be enough dirt to keep us fed. Yeah, there's not a lot of good ways to make us make dirt. Can't you eat salt vines? I don't believe you can. As far as I know, no. It just produces salt. I could be wrong about that. I haven't actually grown them before, but according to their database entries, they just produce harvestable salt, so that's not food. So I would say probably food scarcity is the next big one on the list. If I go to the materials overlay and go to consumable soil, cultivatable soil, there is a lot of phosphorite. There's not a lot of dirt. Here, I can even zoom out. So the blue here is fertilizer. The brown is dirt, and the purple is phosphorite. So if you take a look at the map, it's basically all phosphorite. Filtering polluted water produces dirt from regolith. Yes, we could filter polluted water and produce dirt that way, but it would have to be a lot. It would have to be a renewable, a large amount of filtered water to be producing dirt. The other way that we could do this is to start ranching for meat, just to try to kill as many, to try to get as many animals as we can and turn them into barbecue. So that's another option, to go full carnivorous and not bother trying to grow our own crops. Did I flag with this? Oh yeah, this was the steam vent. Alright, well, I am going to open up the inbox for projects, and feel free to suggest what you think I need to work on, or what you'd like to see done. So, current priority, suggest a goal. And Stonehenge, thank you for the sub. And Octanian, thank you for 2 additional gifted subs. Cheers. Howdy, Trusted. I still have, I would say, the desire to do some additional exploration, so even though you're currently submitting projects to me, I am just going to continue my little vertical ladder to hell, let's call it. All right. So how are we doing here? Is ranching a viable way to get food? Yes. It really depends on what animal you're ranching and what the animal's diet is. So obviously ranching an animal that requires dirt to be fed doesn't work, but hatches, for instance, can eat just rock, and then we can turn that rock into meat. You can think about it this way. Oh, pufflet eggs. I will turn you into some cracked eggs wherever my my kitchen is. I don't think pufflets is a viable creature to ranch, however. They do produce slime when they're in a polluted oxygen environment, which could perhaps allow us to do mushrooms, but I don't think that they produce enough slime to make enough mushrooms in a viable way. But I won't smash their eggs in case someone wants to propose that. So, has those oxygen... Yeah, these deodorizers did get built, and they're starting to get supplied. So you can see the polluted oxygen turned to regular oxygen. Again, it doesn't really matter because it's external to our airlocks, so it's not a threat to us. It's outside. I just would prefer if we didn't get into a scenario where we had a germ outbreak. Weird. This whole process is... Okay. It's unusual to see the whole process frozen. Are you guys cramped? Nope, not yet. There is 8 critters, so any more eggs in there, and I'm going to need to do something about that. Well, there's only been one project so far. Oh, there's 2. There's a second. And I'll just leave it open until I have enough suggested. So this squeaky puffed is breathing chlorine, which is weird because there's no chlorine in... Oh, no, there's a little bit of chlorine in this environment, and making bleach stone. I'm just looking at what wild animals there are. I suppose there's also sleetwheat. But again, that has the same problem as everything else. It requires fertilizer, dirt, etc. So, yep. Just one of those things. How much plastic do I have? Oh, I have a lot of plastic. So that's another thing that I could do is to set up this granite ladder with plastic to speed up movement speed vertical. But another thing I could do is a transport tube up top as well. Yeah. I like some of these proposed projects. They're great. We'll see what you all end up voting on. And I'm still just exploring. I'm just putting around the map tile, figuring out if there's anything special that I have not yet discovered. Guess I really don't need that. I'll just start digging here. So we have this ladder. What is my rock crusher missing? Oh, pokey shells and things like that. Eggshells. Fossils to lime. So this storage bin had fossils. Yeah, so we'll just start to do fossils to lime here. Get more lime in case we need a lot of steel. So, vertical exploration is coming along, I'd say. We're getting down there. I'm gonna grab the mirth here for myself. Spruce up the base, you know? And because I don't have a lot of other projects going on, my dupes are making excellent progress on the vertical ladder. And then this will go all the way down to oil. And then at some point, if I have a transport tube, I can either knock out the fire pole or probably the fire pole and replace it with transport tubing. And then one of the interesting things is my rust production for oxygen drops iron here, and then we're making an iron fire pole. So I'm basically producing a resource and then using it where I produced the resource, which is kind of convenient. A little bit. It's nice. Alright, does look like the water supply in the aquifer is low. So I can start to push this water in there or something like that. Oh, I don't like food decay. That's no good. And are you cramped now? No, not yet. But I might want to kill the oldest. Because this is about to be a bit too cramped. I'll kill the two oldest here. Need them happy, so I can make meat out of them. Alright, I'm going to give you all 5 more minutes. It will be a vote timer, which I know is odd, but 5 more minutes to suggest your suggestions, and then I'll poll for them. This is kind of a funny little conveyor system here, isn't it? Also appears like I am flat out of salt. So I'm going to slow down the game a little bit and head and hunt for salt. One thing I could do is to turn on my desalinator. That should make... Oh, you know what? I can't, actually, because we're not currently... We have flooded this chamber here. So that's a no-go. Let me try to get salt some other way. Digging it up. There should be plenty of salt still for me to dig, which would be in the consumable ore overlay. So salt is this white color. So let's go dig that up. Don't want to run out of oxygen now. Right, let's go back to consumable ore. There's salt here. There's actually a surprise, not too much salt left, so that's another project to think about, is how am I going to get a renewable source of it? Or even if I should, as I suppose that's a good question too, is I could always do electrolysis for my oxygen supply. I don't really need to do rust, although we have, obviously, a significant amount of infrastructure for rust. But we could always pivot. Nothing wrong with a little pivoting. Alright, well, there's some salt harvest going on. The ladders are already getting built. And it looks like I have some poles. Some of them, I'll be honest, they don't make any sense to me. But I'll put them down anyway and just let you all vote on them. And I'll clarify if they win. So, what do we got? Next project. Tap the polluted water geyser. Work on a rocket pad. Create a new ranch of hatches. I let my hatch ranch sort of die back, as you can see. I got rid of them. But we can always dig up some more. And start a mushroom farm. Use the natural gas for power. Or add farms. Alright. Let me reset the timer. There we go. Thank you for your suggestions. And, yeah, feel free to vote. Let me know what you think I should work on. So it also looked like my rust amount is rather low here in the bin as well. But, rust is... there's tons of rust here in this biome, so... I am not at all worried about rust running out. So I'll tap some extra rust as well. Are there puffs on the map? Yes, there are. So I could generate slime that way if I needed to. And I have pufflet eggs actually in, I just printed them up. So here's a squeaky. I think all the biomes that I have available to me have already been revealed, meaning that there's, unless I go to space, there's really not any new creatures that I'm going to get access to. So our kicals are lowering a little bit. Doesn't really concern me yet. Not yet. Alright, pop here is 6. Most of the current tasks I have right now are just like dig tasks, which is going to require my few diggers to do quite a lot of work. Vertical tunnel's looking pretty good though. What are the dupes working on? Where are they? So we have some at the vertical tunnel. I think it's probably going to be worth it to me to start to plastic up this vertical tunnel. So I'm going to use all the plastic that I currently have to speed up movement speed. And let's see what there is to print. Dig, tidy, operate. And they're stylish with a iron gut, but they're gastrophobic. I think I really probably shouldn't consider adding more dupes until I have solved some of the food. I wouldn't call it a crisis, but obviously there is a looming shortage, so I'm going to hold off on that. Because we are... we're running out. That's filtered. Let that go. So we have now 2 tons of salt. I think this salt is stored in here, but that means that, yeah, I am still running low. And we have not made a whole lot of progress towards the salt. As you can see, these dupes go dig once and then they bail. What did I just do? What was that? I don't know. It's like a level up noise, but I have no idea who got it. So we've revealed, due to this vertical ladder, I'm going to have it go up a little bit more. What is this? Leaky oil? Oh, bummer. Keep giving me more and more leaky oil, and it's like, I don't need any more leaky oil. I'm just going to dig a little closer, although there's no chance of there being anything that I haven't yet discovered. I'll just dig a little closer, just to reveal it all, so it's not... it's not in shadow. And if you haven't voted yet, you have very little time left, just 20-something seconds, so cast your votes. Temperature of the base. So it's definitely hitting up around my current power production. No doubt about that. It's warmer. We're not pushing, I don't think, into the dangerous territory. And then this heat that was produced from the leaky oil is being resolved, I'd say. Alright, looks like use natural gas for power. Got it. Alright, I'll mark that as dead dodos and refund everybody else. So let's work on that. So in order to do that, I am going to want to build like a natural gas plant. So the way these work is you have the natural gas generators. Natural gas generators produce carbon dioxide and polluted water as a result, and it turns the natural gas into electrical power. So the water will just sort of drop out of the natural gas generator, and it will outgas carbon dioxide. So it's one of these situations where you're going to have a lot of outgassed carbon dioxide that you're probably going to want to dump to space, or it will overpressurize eventually. So for me to use this natural gas, I believe, yeah, it's not going anywhere right yet. So I am going to set up a natural gas area. This is outside the lock here, which is fine. I might want to think about... And J-Dog, thank you for the resub. I might want to think about trying to put the natural gas generator inside, but you'd have to go through a water lock anyway because of the carbon dioxide. I'd like to put it... I don't know where to put it. I could put it here, perhaps. This is not so far from the checkpoint that it allows us to tune it up and maintain it. So let me dig out, start to dig out a swath here so that we can get that built. If I do a new power room, I could make the base a little bit more robust. I agree. The other thing I could do is to run a heavy watt line. One of these heavy watt wires and run it as a trunk on the left side of the base here. And run that heavy watt line with transformers that transform it to 1,000 watts for where I need 1,000 watts. Or 2K watts if I want the 2K watt transformers. So that's another thing that I could do. And then another smart thing would be for each system to have its own smart battery so that the transformers aren't running all the time. And I haven't really built like that before, but basically have it be a battery bank for the power generation, a transformer, and then another battery. And that second battery being a smart battery. And that smart battery saying, hey, when you're low, turn on the transformers. Because transformers, as you can see, they produce heat, right? All the time. And they produce less heat than the smart batteries. So if you have one smart battery to turn off two transformers, it's a net savings of a lot of heat. So that's something else that we could do. So I rather like that idea, is to have a to design this system for a power trunk. But I'll poll. Should I make the power grid more robust while tapping natural gas? And then I would also design it so that it can handle solar and things like that in the future. Because that heavy watt line can handle a lot of power producers. It doesn't need to necessarily just do natural gas or, you know, whatever. Give you 2.5 minutes to vote on that, because it's going to take me a minute to dig out a spot for this. So another thing to think about is we're going to have outgas that we don't want. I do have a waste line right here, So this here is a waistline. So I can dump the carbon dioxide to that waistline and maybe set it up so that there's a pressure sensor that triggers it automatically, and so I don't really have to worry about it too badly. Wouldn't that allow the wire to be overloaded by pulling more than 1 or 2K from the battery? Only if you have so it would, but only if you put enough things to draw that much. So if I set it up the way I just suggested, I would make sure that there was never more than 1,000 watt potential on each, by just looking at potential load and trying to balance it so that at max load, there's only 1,000. But yeah, that's a fair point. The traditional just transformers could be better, could be more easy. It's certainly easier to run. I don't know, I could do it either way. Oh, puppy treats for Yoda. Here, buddy. So this will be the liquid lock. You're happy to say that Ani's back on the menu? Yeah. I'm happy about that too. And I'm actually going to proactively set this up as a heavy watt joint plate, building it into the airlock. In case we want it or need it. Oh, I made that out of copper? Yeah, don't do that. I don't have a lot of copper. I have a lot more iron. Alright, did we end up getting that salt? So you guys do want me to make it more robust. Copy that. No, our push to salt has not yielded much of anything yet. Yeah, we really... I guess we dig down there for salt. But we've made no progress here either. The vertical tunnel has gone down. Ooh, hey, there's something down here. There is a vac. Nice. I set the ladder up to basically take us straight to a vac. Why do I only do puppy treats for Yoda and not other dogs? If the other dogs were here, I'd give them puppy treats, but they're not. They're hanging out elsewhere. I could try to call them, though. I give them a holler. They don't sit here with me, so... and often my door is closed for sound, so they're not even able to get in here. Yeah, see, I called them, but they're not even showing up. Not likely to happen. Oh, here's Tusk. Oh, I even see an Echo. Hey, Echo. If you hop up on the couch, I'll give you treats. Up on the couch. She doesn't want it. She, poked at it and said no thanks. Oh, I have a battery. Oh, well, that's not my battery. Don't blame me for it being flooded. Boo, not cool. So, we're seeing a little bit more of the oil biome. We got new printables. Gonna go with the shovelful eggs. Probably gonna make omelets out of the shovelful eggs. If you take a look at the shovelfuls, I don't think they're gonna really solve any of my problems. They just delete. Yeah. We could ranch them, but that wasn't voted on, so I am gonna smash them instead. How easy is this game to pick up? I'll be honest, it's not. It's not easy to pick up. It's not impossible, but it's not that simple either. There we go. And then the next question is, who should get backed? Accidentally typed Piper, not Viper. There we go. Alright, there we go. You can vote on who gets the improvement. And let me just delete this battery here, because it's just going to throw warnings at me that it's flooded, even though I don't own it. And Octanian, thanks for even more gifted subs. Cheers. And that's a good reminder that I need to drink my coffee. So the excavation here is a little slower. So the way this is going to work, I think, is we would have something like the natural gas generators like here. And then have them sitting on mesh tiles, which does not obstruct the flow of water or gas, so that the polluted water can drop down, and then have a pool for the polluted water down here. Yeah, that's... The other thing is this produces heat, so what another thing I have to do is to probably insulate it a little bit. Like this. Just to try to keep the heat from seeping. I don't think it fully requires, like vacuum sealing or anything like that. That's a little extreme, but, yeah. We don't want the heat to build up if we could help it. So... I can add some additional insulated tiles around here. The heavy watt joint plate is going to be an excellent conductor of that heat, but, I mean, that's just the way it is, right? That cannot be fixed very easily. And then we'll run the natural gas pipe to feed it, and then this will dump the CO2 to the dump line that's part of the rust production. This is the dump line, which normally has just been taking carbon dioxide or chlorine, and then we can the polluted water we can pump upwards to. Vacuum sealing wouldn't hurt. I mean, it wouldn't hurt, but I also don't know if I really care. I'll poll for it. See if you guys want vacuum seal or not. I mean, I don't mind doing it. It's just added complexity. All right, looks like Viper is the runaway winner for the vac. Should I vacuum seal the nat gas Jenny? Yes or no? So for those that are not that experienced in the game, one of the hardest things to deal with in Oxygen Not Included is to deal with heat. To deal with basically the buildup of heat, and vacuum sealing it helps to prevent the heat of that process from leaking out. So you are now a deep diver lung. Cool. Very nice. And there is another geyser down here. This is a leaky oil. Does not surprise me. And then we are getting down to magma. So there's really not that much of a point going any deeper than this. In fact, at this point, I think we can just start digging towards the fossils for using for the steel process. This was carbon dioxide, saltwater geyser. Okay, I did that. I knew that. Alright, looks like the yays are going to win here, so I'm going to have to redesign this a little bit. Is there something beneath the magma? Neutronium. It's basically the edge of the map. The map is finite. Oh, good. We got over here to the salt. Because just because I have priorities doesn't mean I can ignore the need for resources that we live upon, right? Wow, no one wants to build that plastic ladder. Can you use magma for anything? You can. You can use magma actually for a lot of things. You can use magma to heat up water, to produce steam, to produce power. You can use magma to phase change elements if you want, you know, a solid to become a liquid or a liquid to become a gas. That could be useful. You know, you think of magma as a sort of a hard to deal with heat source, and the opportunities for that heat source are infinite. So, for instance, let's say you had a polluted water vent, and you could drip that polluted water into your magma or close to your magma for that water to boil, and then as it boils, it purifies. It's sort of pure water purification, and then what you could do is you could take that steam that boiled off from the polluted water, and it will separate from, you know, the pollutants will separate from the water, and then that steam could produce power. And you're basically producing water and power and dirt from magma, from polluted water. So, like, that would be for instance of using polluted magma. Magma is a pretty dangerous to work with, though, because it's pressurized and it's extraordinarily hot. So it requires space-age materials, or at least things like steel, to be able to work with, or everything melts. So it's not like a fix-all by any means. But, all right, it looks like you guys want me to vacuum seal the nat gas, Jenny. I will do that. So that would be 2 airlocks. And then if I'm vacuum sealing it, I don't really need to even care about insulated tiles, because it won't matter. He's like, oh, yeah, I have tasks to do. Oh my god. Well, Chemo's a simpleton. Whoa, that's not anything like what I clicked. So then in here, oh yeah, I see. I'm gonna have to change this a little bit. I've not really vacuum sealed one of these, so some experimentation required, but we'll get it. So then this section can't touch anything. Can't touch the walls. And then the natural gas Jenny will be in here. Now, what's funny about vacuum sealing this, I just want to add, is we're going to be sending probably the polluted water and stuff like that. So, although it will be vacuum sealed, it's like, it's vacuum sealed, but like we still introduce the heat to the base. So it's like, I don't know, not really vacuum sealed. The heat still will find its way to bleed out. And then because of the way the heavy watt joint plate is, you know what? Because of the heavy watt joint plate, that's going to be a heat conductor. I don't really need to make this perfect. I just realized. So I'm gonna again change it again because no matter what, we have to have the cables connect, right? So there's no way to like fully vacuum seal it. So I'll do a sort of an imperfect one instead. That just occurred to me. Is you're going to have a physical heavy watt cable there no matter what you do, so. All right. How's the ladder? All right, the plastic ladder is getting going. The exploration looks good. There's interesting, you know, I actually want to go down here. I want to see what's in this granite section that's underneath oil. And new printables. What's we got? Let's go with omelets. That helps me with my food. And I'm going to kibosh the stone crushing for a bit. It's probably producing a lot of heat, and we don't actually really need the materials yet. We have a lot of lime already. Thank you for tuning in to Oxygen Not Included Badlands, which originally streamed live on Twitch March 24th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. But please keep in mind that this is a casual series, so I'm not really all that interested about gameplay mechanic suggestions. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams, and Discord, the link can be found in the description, has some events, which will give you notifications about upcoming streams, and of course, episodes released on YouTube. Thank you so very much for watching. A special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel. I'll catch you in next episode. Farewell.